Hey everybody, welcome back. Your exam for PTE Academic is in 15 days. What are you going to do in the next 2 weeks? Well, if that's the case for you, then you chose the right video. Today, we're going to go through all of the information you need to know in order to get a high score in the final 2 weeks of preparation. Maybe you've booked the test already, or maybe you're just looking at strategies to plan for the future, and that's awesome. But when you book the test and you have 2 weeks in advance, you really want to nail in the strategies and the skills just before the exam. So this video is going to give you all of that information you need to know to take that test. What to study, when to study, how to use the practice tests, and how to use those results to improve. I'll tell you exactly when to take the Pearson mock test because those are pure gold when you're studying for this test. So let's get into it. So I'm Scott from HZadeducation. Every week we upload videos for Pearson's PTE Academic test. Now if you're taking the test for immigration, for work purposes, for university purposes, do go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel, support us so that you get more content every week on how to maximize your score, how to study better, and we got some strategies in there as well. Check out the channel if you want to see more. If at any point of this video you feel overwhelmed by the amount of material to study for the exam, do get in touch with us because we have one-on-one coaching programs that will go through a personalized study plan to help you reach your desired score. Everyone has a different level of English and a different desired score. So we'd like to work with you individually to help you maximize your test and ultimately save money so you don't take the test multiple times. Let's get into it. Now, as we jump into the 15-day program, we need to know what is the test doing or what is their criteria before we actually start jamming our study plan in. We're going to take you through a 15-day study plan like this, covering everything you need to know from the structure of the test to specific areas that you should study, including high-value and low-value questions, as well as when to take the mock test. Because if you're thinking, well, I speak English really well, I must do well on this test. That's not necessarily the case. This is an exam. Ultimately, it's an exam. It's not just your language proficiency. So the PTE Academic test is going to measure things like how well do you perform under stress, under pressure, how well are you accurately using your language, and can you use those skills in a test-like environment? The test is done online, so that's an advantage for some. However, it is using AI algorithms to mark and to assess the scores, with the exception of sometimes they use human intervention if necessary, but in total, it's AI. So day 1 and day 2 will look like that. Take the time to understand the test format very well. I assume you have already understood what the test looks like in previous weeks, but this is your time to really get into the fine details. How many questions? What is the value of those questions? How are they being scored? Is it grammar? Is it vocabulary? Will you lose a mark if you get one spelling mistake wrong? I won't go through all of that in this video because it's a lot. But check out our other videos for each individual section because we have loads of information on how to maximize your score there. In particular, you're going to be focusing on these really high value questions. Those are the questions that have a lot of marks. So if you do really well, it boosts your score. If you do poorly, well, you'll lose significant amount of marks. We're thinking of questions like the write an essay. In the writing section, that's a big one. And it takes a long time. Repeat a sentence in speaking, as well as describe an image. Those both count for a lot of marks in your speaking section, as well as your listening. We also have fill in the blanks. Simply, there are just many fill in the blanks, so many marks. And write from dictation. Those are the 5 heavy hitters in the exam, and if you focus purely on those questions, you will automatically get a better score. We have lots of videos to go through them individually as well as practice questions, so do check those out. During day 3 to day 6, you are going to focus on your skill improvement. So let's take a look first at speaking and writing. In day 3, I want you to focus on these questions. 15 read aloud questions, 25 repeat sentences, 3 describe image, 2 retell lectures, 1 essay, yes, 1 essay, that takes a long time, and 1 summarize a written text. If you practice with all of these questions, you are essentially doing a mock section of the speaking and writing. So that will compose your day 3. Go ahead online and try to find some example questions. We have also posted lots within our other videos, so you can make use of those. If you go through all of these questions in one day, you will start to identify what is your strengths and your weaknesses for this section. Now, for the speaking section, I want you to remember that accents are not negatively marked. So the PTE Academic test, unlike other tests, they do a really good job at ensuring that they honor different accents. However, you still need to make sure that you're speaking clearly and audibly so that the AI recorder can capture your voice and understand what you're saying. In day 4, you're going to focus on reading and listening. So for day 4, I want you to focus on reading, fill in the blanks, reading and writing, fill in the blanks, so that's a little bit different. Reorder the paragraph. It's low value, but you still need to practice because it's kind of tricky. And in the highest value section, we're thinking about write from dictation and summarize a spoken text. If you only have time for 2 questions, those would be the 2 questions because they have the highest value for this part. Moving on, day 5 and day 6 is where you are going to repeat some of your questions. So in day 5, you will repeat the tasks from day 3, which was speaking and writing. In day 6, you're going to repeat the questions from day 4, which was reading and listening. So go back, do that set of questions again. We're continuing to practice. Now, moving on to day 7, this is our first full mock test. Now, I'm highly recommending to use Pearson's online free mock tests. Yes, you do have to pay a little bit of money, but it's going to save you a lot of time and energy in the real exam. So their best package offers you 2 tests, and we're going to utilize those 2 tests as you are practicing. Reasonably priced, and it feels exactly like the exam. Putting yourself in that exam setting is necessary. After you go ahead and take that test on day 7, I want you to spend 1 hour, 60 minutes reviewing your results. Please do not just skim past it. These results are really important for us to proceed in the next week. So take a look at where you lost marks and be specific. Was it certain questions or was it certain elements like spelling or listening? Check out if you ran out of time somewhere or if you found questions were particularly difficult. So reviewing the test is like the most important part of this section. Day 7 is a heavy hitter. Save it for a Sunday or a day that you have more free time. Day 8 to 10, we're going back to the basics. We are going to study the things that you lost marks on. So for example, if your essay score was really low, you're going to write more essays going forward, day 8 to 11, for example. This is where the practice actually matters. It's not random, it's very specific and organized practice. Now, if you would like to have a one-on-one coach that will really guide your direction here and provide many mock exams or many sample questions, then just get in touch with us because we would be happy to help and guide your study plan more specifically. From here, you're doing it mostly independent. But let's take a look. If you had trouble in the speaking section, like repeat a sentence, you're going to work on those questions, do 25 to 30 a day, and focus on key words. If you had trouble in writing, for example, like write an essay, well, you're going to write 1 essay per day until you get that perfect score. I know, it seems like a lot, but you're doing this for 2 weeks and then it's done, only 2 weeks. In the reading section, if your fill in the blanks wasn't accurate or you didn't have a high score, we really need to focus on vocabulary. And for the listening, if write from dictation was kind of weak, well then we're going to practice that using random audio or YouTube videos, and we're going to write from dictation, about 20 of them per day, making sure our spelling is accurate. This is just a sample strategy on what you can do or what you should be doing, but I would prefer it to be more personalized so that you get to maximize your score based on your strengths. Day 12 is when you will take the second Pearson mock test. Remember, you had 2 of them lined up, so we're going to take the second one on day 12. This will show you if you've made some progress over the time, and we're coming down to our exam day approaching. Please remember to review the answers very carefully, and we hope to see some progress at this point. Now, a strategy I've seen with our own students is that on day 13 and day 14, we're not going to introduce new strategies. We're not going to introduce new skills or techniques. We're simply going to refine the skills that we've already learned and keep practicing until we aren't losing marks on particular questions. Here, the Pearson exam is very repetitive. You'll see the same question types and sometimes the same questions. So the more that we practice, the more familiar we get with it, and we develop an ear for the listening activities, we develop an eye for the writing activities, and it just becomes second nature. So 13 and 14, day 13, day 14, keep practicing the questions that you need to practice based on your skills. Day 15, we have reached it. Don't overload yourself with questions. Focus on the key areas. Essay structure, common vocabulary, so researching vocabulary. Do a few repeated sentences because it's high value, and a few write from dictation. This is a light date, and it's just there simply to review the most essential areas of the exam so that you can maximize your score. The final thing to remember is that in the exam, there is a lot of structure and organization. It's not random English, and it's not just simply about how well you could express yourself. I will say that this exam is quite time pressured. So in the morning, make use of your best routine. Have your coffee, get enough sleep, and make sure that you're ready to work with clarity and speed as you jump into that exam. Making use of the tips that we've studied in this video about planning your time, focusing on the weakness areas, and looking at high value questions, I understand that you will get a high score or your desired score so that you can proceed with the next stage of your life. If you're looking for more detailed information, check out our other videos because we go through specific question types like the reading, writing, speaking, listening area, all in depth. Remember, our goal here in the next 15 days is consistency. Keep working at it for 15 days before you take your test. Everyone, I'm Scott from HZad Education. It's a pleasure doing work with you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.